Welcome to the part 5 of many. If you've not watched any of the other parts, go check them out now while you have the chance. We are now at element composition. It will max out at level 20 now instead of 30. It will cost 28 MP to use instead of 22. It will deal 560% damage and freeze the enemies for 2 seconds instead of having 140 basic attack, 60% mastery, and freezing for 2 seconds. Teleport mastery is the fire poison mage has got. You will consume an extra 20 MP and it deals 300% damage to up to 6 enemies. 80% chance to stun for 4 seconds with 20 extra teleport range. Elemental reset, which is another new skill. It'll cost 50 MP and reduce 100% of the element for 300 seconds. Ice Lightning Archmage. Magic Mastery will be a new skill you'll be learning with 30, which will give you 30 extra magic attack and 50% extra buff duration. It does not say if this is a party skill or not. Maple Warrior will now cost 70 MP instead of 60 MP. I should really stop saying that because it's the same for every class. Big Bang will now cost 50 MP and will attack 6 enemies 5 times with 290% damage. Before Big Bang, it did 450 max attack, 80% mastery. No, it was not lightning elemental, and it only hit once. Mana Reflection will now cost 50 MP instead of 45 MP, with a 60% chance to reflect back damage up to 1000% damage for 300 seconds, instead of reflecting back 200% damage for 250 seconds. Ice Demon. You'll now cost 35 MP to use instead of 34. It will deal 260% damage to up to 6 enemies. 15 seconds of freezing damage of 100% damage per second will make the enemy suffer more damage from ice attacks for 15 seconds. Instead of having 120 basic attack damage to up to 6 enemies with 60% mastery. No, it did not give damage over time. It would make the enemy suffer more damage from fire attacks for 15 seconds. So you are losing the fire attack damage for 15 seconds, but you're also gaining 100% damage per second that he is frozen. So it's probably better that way. Infinity will now cost 50 MP, and it'll give you 10% HP and MP recovery for each 4 seconds, and 10% extra magic defense increasing each 4 seconds, starting at 0% for the first 4 seconds, 10% for the 5 to 8, etc., until it reaches 40 to 44, which will give you 100% for 40, and it will last 44 seconds. Pre-Big Bang, it lasted for 40 seconds, and the MP was left intact with a 10-minute cooldown. It does not say anything about cooldown in Big Bang, so maybe they're getting rid of the cooldown. Elqueen summons a Elqueen for a period of time. I probably pronounced that horribly wrong. It'll now cost 120 MP instead of 100. She will deal 330% damage and will freeze for 3 seconds instead of for 100 seconds with 300 basic attack. Chain Lightning will now cost 44 MP instead of 25 MP. It'll deal 740% damage, 15% extra critical chance instead of 210 basic attack with 16% mastery. So you are getting a critical chance increase. Blizzard, which it will now cost 380 MP to use instead of 2,900. It will deal 1,400% damage to up to 15 enemies, 10 seconds of 205% damage each second, 30 seconds of cooldown. There was no cooldown before Big Bang, but you are getting a hell of a lot better attack. Hero's Will not change in Big Bang. For the Cleric, MP Eater will stay the same. You will learn a new skill called Spell Mastery, which will give you 50% mastery and 10 magic attack. Teleport will now consume 12 MP instead of 13 MP. Heal will now give you 300% heal power and 280% damage dealt up to 5 undead monsters. Invincible will now have a max level of 15, giving you a 30%, or it will take away 30 MP and 30% physical damage for 300 seconds. Bliss will now max out at level 15 instead of 20. It will cost 24 MP to use still. It'll give you 15 physical and magic attack, 120 physical and magic defense, 60% accuracy and avoidability for 300 seconds instead of 20 accuracy, avoidability, physical and magic defense for 200 seconds. Holy Arrow will now cost 36 MP and do 380% damage and max out at level 20 instead of 30. Before Big Bang, it will cost 24 MP and have an 80 basic attack with 60% mastery. Priest will have partial resistance. It will grow resistance to all elemental attacks, and I'm so sorry for you guys having to listen to this. It'll be 40% resistance to all elements and attacks. Holy Traction is a new skill you will learn. It will max out at level 20. It will increase your critical chance by 50%. This is for all holy attacks, which includes heal. Dispel will now max out at level 10 instead of 20. It'll cost 10 MP instead of 20, and it will have a 100% chance to dispel. Mystic Door will now cost 60 MP instead of 33 MP. It will still require 1 magic stone and will set up the door for 200 seconds instead of 180. The Holy Symbol will not change at all in the duration of changing to Big Bang. Shining Ray will now cost 430% damage with an 80% chance to stun for 5 seconds. Before Big Bang, it did not stun. Doom's max level will now max out at 20 instead of 30. It will cost 35 MP instead of 30. It'll still require 1 magic stone and have a 60% chance of turning enemies into a snail for 15 seconds instead of a 90% chance of turning enemies into a snail for 20 seconds. Summon Dragon will now cost 80 MP like it did before Big Bang. It will max out at level 20. It will still require 1 summoning stone, and you'll summon the dragon for 180 seconds instead of 140, and it will deal 310% damage. You'll be learning a new skill called Teleport Mastery, which will consume 20 extra MP and deal 300% damage to up to 6 enemies and an 80% chance to stun for 4 seconds with 20 extra teleport range. Bishop will be learning a new skill called Magic Mastery. With the max level of 10, you will get 30 extra magic attack and 50% extra buff duration. Maple Warrior will increase by 10 MP, so it will be 70 MP instead of 60 MP. Big Bang will now cost 50 MP and will attack 6 enemies 5 times with 290% damage. Mana Reflection will be the same as all the other mage classes. It will cost 50 MP and have a 60% chance to reflect 1000% damage back for 300 seconds instead of a 60% chance to reflect 200% damage back for 250 seconds. Bahamut now will cost 120 MP. It will summon a Bahamut for 260 seconds and deals 470% damage. Infinity will change like it did to all of the other classes, all the other mage classes. Holy Shield will now cost 65 MP. It will last for 60 seconds. It will prevent a buff cast. It permanently increases your resistance to the elements with 40% instead of costing 40 MP and only having lasted for 40 seconds. It says there will be no cooldown before it had a 2-minute cooldown. Resurrection will now have a max level of 5. It will cost 50 MP and you'll have a 30-minute cooldown instead of having a 40 MP cost, and you'll still have a 30-minute cooldown. I will see you guys in part 6 of this long part journey.